Hello, hello, my friends. It is Hondo. And welcome back to the Knights of the Nerd Republic. You know what to do, and stay profitable.
The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Hello there, and welcome back to Knights of the Nerd Republic. You're the son of a bitch. The show your favorite nerds talk all things from the galaxy far, far away. I got distracted by Spencer getting crunk to the KNR theme. Feel free to gift that at your leisure. Obviously, Spencer Mando Simpson. I'm here, and we got Connor.
Hello.
What's up, Connor, baby? How you doing?
I'm good, Spencer. I'm good.
It's such a treat to be on the same show with you anymore. It happens maybe once a month these days. It's so good
agree.
to see you.
It is. Same here. It's mutual.
Glad to hear that. Thank you.
You guys are cute. Little quick housekeeping up top. By the time that you were hearing this, Spencer and I are recording it right after we're done with this. Skier versus Savage Press will be out on the Patreon for $5 and above patrons. So yeah, spooky month matchup. Last year it was a battle between the Mechanical Butchers with Darth Vader and General Grievous, and this year's is two monster boys. It's all specifically Drengir possessed Skier is how we're doing it. So he's going to have his giant-ass Groot arm while fighting my least favorite Star Wars character. So I'm going to try not to be biased and just feed Skier the win.
Listen, man, I don't know exactly how it's going to shake out because I'm not at all familiar with Skier.
Yeah,
it was hard.
Between starting the show, I'm going to be doing like a here's what you need to know. There's going to be a debrief going in.
It was really hard for me to write his bio and his character, Savage's bio and character stats without making it seem too obvious.
Savage Press was a piece of shit who's had a stinky butt.
I was afraid that it would be too obvious to the audience that I hope Savage loses. I tried to be fair.
Hey, we're very fair, you know.
Yeah, of course.
I checked my bias at the door when we did Kylo and Vader last season.
Absolutely.
As best as I could.
As I did when we did Malgus.
Yes.
Can't remember who won that match.
I can't either.
It's so hard to remember.
I don't know how we remembered all of them last season, but this season it's like
it's like wait.
Before the tournament, I have to go back and like listen to the verdicts for each of them and write it out. But yeah, we got it's a light news week, but some cool news for the week. So we are going to jump right into some of that. I'm going to screen share for this article from StarWars.com because we got hella books announced. I also find it hilarious when StarWars.com has the audacity to say exclusive. There's just something really funny and slightly redundant, but I digress. Some essential Star Wars stories are coming to our galaxy. StarWars.com is thrilled to reveal 4 new books featuring never-before-told tales from across the Star Wars saga. Star Wars Shadow of the Sith, a novel by author Adam Christopher, takes place after Return of the Jedi and finds Luke Skywalker and Lando Calrissian on a mission to locate Exegol. The novel Star Wars Brotherhood by Mike Chen follows Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker amidst the chaos of the Clone Wars and Skywalker's rise to Jedi Knight. Star Wars Stories of Jedi and Sith, new middle grade anthology, Follows adventures from 10 acclaimed authors, and the young adult novel Star Wars Padawan by Kirsten White depicts Obi-Wan in his early days as a student of Qui-Gon Jinn.
Young adult? Like, how young adult?
So the term young adult has like a weird reputation where like you hear young adult and you think Twilight.
50 Shades.
No, adult novel. No, you say adult novel, that's where you go, oh, like that's erotica. Young adult is something that, like, in terms of writing style and length, is geared towards like
Young
teens
adults.
to 20s. Yeah. In the same way that you have like a kid's novel, like some of the High Republic, like Race to Crash Point Tower and Test of Courage, you look at the audiobook, they're like 3 hours, as opposed to Light of the Jedi or The Rising Storm, which are like 16 hours long.
They're 16 hours long? Oh,
ish. I'm guesstimating.
That's about how long it took me to listen to the Thrawn books, though.
And that's like the average length for, like, again, when you say adult, like not erotica adult, but
big kid.
And the young adult stuff is kind of in between it's a 3 hour listen, versus So young adult, not necessarily Twilight. That's just the age range. So official synopses. Shadow of the Sith by Adam Christopher. The Empire is dead. Lol. Nearly 2 decades on from the Battle of Endor, the tattered remnants of Palpatine's forces have fled into the farthest reaches of the galaxy. But for the heroes of the New Republic, danger and loss are ever-present companions, even in this newly forged era of peace. Jedi Master Luke Skywalker is haunted by visions of the dark side, foretelling an ominous secret growing somewhere in the depths of space, on a world called Exegol. The disturbances in the Force is undeniable, and Luke's worst fears are confirmed when his old friend Lando Calrissian comes to him with reports of a new Sith menace. After his daughter was stolen from his arms, Lando searched the stars for any trace of his lost child, but every new rumor only led to dead ends and fading hopes until he crossed paths with Ochi of Bestoon, a Sith assassin tasked with kidnapping a young girl. Ochi's true motives remain shrouded to Luke and Lando, for on a junkyard moon, a mysterious envoy of the Sith Eternal has bequeathed a sacred blade to the assassin, promising that it will give him answers to the questions that have haunted him since the Empire fell. In exchange, he must complete a final mission, return to Exegol with the key to the Sith's glorious rebirth, the granddaughter of Darth Sidious himself, Rey. As Ochi hunts Rey and her parents to the edge of the galaxy, Luke and Lando race into mystery of the Sith's lingering shadow and aid a young family running for their lives.
So Lando's got a kid?
We knew that from Rise of Skywalker.
It was implied, but weirdly.
No, he says, like, his daughter was taken. The implication is that it's Janna. But he says, like, the Empire the First Order stole my child.
I never caught that.
Yeah. He says that, if I'm remembering correctly, he says that the Empire First Order, whatever you want to call it, the Sith, took his daughter, but he's telling it to Janna, and like the way the scene is framed, it feels like they're implying it's Janna. Because everybody has to be related.
See, it was always weird. It was that scene stuck out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I think they're trying to imply that she's his daughter, but where else does he ever mention he's got a kid? And where else does she ever mention, like, I don't know, the classic, I'm trying to find my family. Oh, yeah, okay, we heard that for 3 freaking movies from Rey. Why are we starting this all over again?
And a version of it for a movie and a half for Luke.
I am not opposed to Lando having a daughter. I don't.
The Rise of Skywalker already had a "hey, you're related to somebody" shark jump.
Yeah, I did not enjoy how it was handled. in Rise of Skywalker. Like, it would be one thing. Do you remember that really awkward, weird scene from Doctor Who when Captain Jack Harkness meets up with that other guy that knew the Doctor in a bar, and they're just like, "You want to go on adventures?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." And I'm like, "Wait, are they like making a pass on each other? Like, are they gay together, or are they just the two best friends that anyone could have?" And they're just like, "Let's go have an adventure." It's just like, so the scene is framed and executed in such a strange way. It's like, what's going on?
Where it's like, here is the takeaway I'm getting, but you are so refusing to say the quiet part out loud that I don't know if that's actually what you're saying.
Like, I think I know, but I am not convinced that I know for sure. I'm like, okay, something else is going on that I don't understand, and it's, what is it? What's going on?
Yeah.
Yep.
Connor, thoughts on this one?
So
yeah.
I'm super excited to. The big thing I'm really excited about with this is I hope Adam dives a lot into Sith philosophy and lore.
That's so much better.
And just what gems we're gonna get out of that in terms of Sith lore. It's just Rise of Skywalker did a lot of weird, really, really weird stuff and kind of fumbled the ball on a bunch of stuff. And so with the description of them saying it, with the description in the StarWars.com article saying that they're gonna, it's not explicitly stated, but like, I think it's kind of assumed they might meet, right? And so like, kind of can't happen because of Last Jedi. And so like, if Luke meets Rey, like, what the heck? I don't think it's going to happen. Some people are worried it will. But yeah, I just don't know.
I first of all would like to say, going back to the most recent time we had Emrys from Girls with Sabers on to talk about the KOTOR remake, and we were talking about like the that was the episode, but we were talking about the Rise of Skywalker at one point. We agreed that the Rise of Skywalker is a movie where they made decisions. It is certainly a movie where decisions were made. It is one of the Star Wars movies of all time. And I have a lot, like, I love they're hunting down Ochi of Bestoon part a lot.
Because Ochi of Bestoon, for those listening and watching, if you've read the Darth Vader comics, Ochi of Bestoon is a hoot. The man is just a freaking mood, and I love him in Greg Pak's Darth Vader run. So I'm really excited to see how that characterization goes over. Again, it's just, I've talked about it before on Twitter, probably on here, kind of related, just Rey Palpatine. I would like it if they actually did something with it, but like, honestly, you could take it out and her arc doesn't change, and in many cases it gets better, to me at least.
Agreed.
So
agreed.
Yeah, as much as I stand by The Last Jedi, in the like, here's how you try to zhuzh up the sequel trilogy, you absolutely have the Palpatine reveal happen in The Last Jedi, and like, have a movie. Now, again, you start to fall into the trap that The Force Awakens fell into, where it's like, oh, we're back to just hitting these beats over and over and over again. This, time is a flat circle. Everything, poetry, it's like poetry. It rhymes. Where you hit that beat really hard. And you kind of have to restructure the back half of the movie for The Last Jedi. Where you can't focus on the Battle of Crate because everyone's going to be like, well, what the hell is Rey doing right now? Like, how is she feeling trying to process this? And And that's the issue you have in The Rise of Skywalker, where it's like she finds out about it. And then she just kind of has to let it simmer within her for like 30 seconds. And then like on some level, the thing that I like the most about Rey Palpatine and how it's portrayed in The Rise of Skywalker is her, like, it feels like she's like really unshakably devoted to the light in a very Obi-Wan Kenobi way. And I love the way that, you know, she succumbs to her anger at one point in the movie, not unlike Obi-Wan, you know, because he goes apeshit on Maul in The Phantom Menace. And we see her have her moment, have her dread, have her uncertainty about it, and then come out the other side and go, no, I choose the light. And I love that about her character. And I like that The Rise of Skywalker does that. I wish we had more time to live in the Rey Palpatine reveal and more time to have her try to come to terms with the implications therein, other than just being really freaked out by it. And you know, we do kind of get that on Kef Beer with her getting really aggressive in that fight, and with how she's handling the situation of trying to get to the Wayfinder.
But again, like, you take that out and it's just her darkness. Just literally that's it. Like, it just, that makes for a much more compelling story to me. And you can still play around with the whole, like, she's still devoted to the light, and then like Palpatine's basically like, oh, this person's really powerful in the Force, and she's kind of angry. I want her as my heir. Like, I don't know. It just seems pretty simple to me.
Yeah, I'm with Connor on this one.
But,
but
then
definitely
again,
don't need her to be related to Palpatine.
Oh, I agree completely. I would prefer a version of this story where she's not.
Palpatine has already kidnapped Force pupils in canon. Like, you don't need her to be related to him for that to...
You're good. I'm just sound checking while you're going.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, you just keep talking. You're good.
I get that, but I think also the thing we should remember is that it's pretty easy to criticize all this stuff, like, when it's already out.
Yeah.
So we have that I don't want to say luxury, but like, we have that quote unquote luxury.
We have the clarity of hindsight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I'm just going to say this up top before we get to any of the other ones. This is absolutely the book I'm most excited for.
Oh yeah.
I said from the moment Lando has has the conversation in Rise of Skywalker, where he alludes to like, oh yeah, Luke and I were hunting down Uchi of Bestoon, and it was like, oh, you guys were like hunting a Jedi killer.
That's getting a story.
Book, comic, TV show, video game, please. You know, like, that's immediately where I went, and it excites me a lot.
And it is set 21 ABY.
Yeah.
So
which is a nice
6.
middle ground.
Yep.
Yeah, so she would be 6.
I really hope this novel does the same thing that the Clone Wars did, where they like bent over backwards trying not to make Anakin and Grievous meet. I want that to happen with this novel so bad.
Yeah. Well, I think that
just for the funnies, just for the comedy of it, really, more than anything.
Here is my worry. I don't even want to say worry, but like my here's where this could fall apart at the seams, and I could be disappointed. I agree you have to do everything in your power for Rey, Luke, and Lando not to meet. And as long as they avoid those 3 crossing paths, I'm fine. It is if Rey meets Luke that it's gonna get weird. Like, the parents can. They can't. And hey, we might even finally get a canonical name for Rey's family. Because
I think we definitely will.
Because we don't have names for them.
Honestly, if they named Rey's mom Jody, I would be okay with that. Like, it just sounds like a Star Wars name, and just like Jody and I don't know, that'd be cool to me. Just having Jodie Comer in Star Wars, just literally in Star Wars, like,
Yeah.
she's just canon.
See, speaking of falling apart at the seams, though, I don't see any version of the story where Luke and or Lando meet even Rey's parents, because if Luke and Lando run into Rey's parents, it is very doubtful that Rey will not come up. And when Rey and crowd meet up with Lando on
Pisana.
Pisana. Thank you. When they all meet up on Pisana,
Ding.
Lando is a smart guy. He's a smart guy, and there's a very little chance that he'd be good. Who are you looking for again? Ochi? Bastoon? Oh my gosh. You're Rey. And then the whole plot line of, I know who your parents are. They were filthy junk traders because they chose to be. I wasn't lying to you. They were nobody because they chose to be. That was enough of a backpedal in itself to now have.
Well, it wasn't that they chose. It was they chose to be, and he was like, that was the only perception and knowledge he had at the time. And again, like, it's this weird retcon where it's like, the point was Ben wouldn't lie to her, and then they had to go, well, he lied by accident. He didn't know he was lying.
Yeah, but here's the thing. All of that time spent in the sequel trilogy about who's Rey's parents, who could they be? Is she somebody? Is she nobody? Tune in to find out. All of that
next time on Dragon Ball Z.
All of that gets neutered the second anybody close to Rey meets her or her parents, because like it just totally falls apart.
Here's where I
wonder if it's going to be a case of like they get really close, but they just never interact.
So I think there's two instances here. I think that you have a situation where they're kind of like in each other's wake and aftermath, kind of like crisscrossing paths unknowingly. Ships in the night. Or, and I think this would be interesting, and I think that it kind of has one of those moments, kind of how the original trilogy recontextualizes the original trilogies, and then the prequel trilogy recontextualizes what Obi-Wan says to Luke in A New Hope, where Luke does meet her parents. And there's basically a situation where by the time he meets them, they have made the decision to, the worst line of dialogue in that movie, sold her to save her. They've already made that decision. But Luke knows somewhere out there this little girl was kicking around, and at that time makes the decision that letting sleeping dogs lie might be the best play. And again, we have nothing about this story other than the synopsis here, but the idea that he's being haunted by visions of the dark side, I kind of dig the idea that he's like, I'm just not going to touch this with a 10-foot pole. And we kind of are like building a history of Luke getting psyched out by like, oh, this is something that could go wrong.
See, and I'm on board with you there, because
but by the time he meets her in The Last Jedi, again, in that same way, Obi-Wan lied to Luke. Like, he lied to Luke. Luke plays dumb with Rey. Because by the Rise of Skywalker, he's like, yes, I knew. So did Leia. We all knew.
I hope that...
He's like, it took us 30 seconds to figure out it had to be you. Because we knew Uchi, whatever you want to call them, was going after Palpatine's granddaughter. Like everything points to it having to be you. Hell, it seems like Ochi has a name to go off of, with it being Rey. So the idea that it's Rey, and they know there's a girl named Rey from Jakku who is Palpatine's granddaughter, and this chick is just chilling in a junk heap, and we're going to leave the bitch there. That's the plan. that is the idea that it's almost like a reverse Harry Potter. It's almost like a reverse Harry Potter that they do to Rey, where it's like instead of like waiting to recruit the girl and use her as a martyr, they're like, cool, leave her out of our business because we are not bringing another Palpatine into this shit. And by the time she shows up, she wins everybody over because she's just so pure of heart and so like naturally inclined to the light. I think that would be interesting, and I think it adds to the complexity without making it more convoluted necessarily, and at the very least not more convoluted than Star Wars pre-sequel trilogy already was.
Yeah, my hope is that with the whole like
or
Leia knew it is like Luke and Leia knew she was a Palpatine. I just hope they found that out in the 1 year gap between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Because I don't know if it's like confirmed, but there's been like some people have thought that he finds out when he reconnects to the Force in Last Jedi, and then like Leia finds out after that, and then that's really how they find out, and like really that's that would just make a lot more sense to me than them knowing like 12 years before. Or 13 years before. And it's just like, I don't know. I kind of hope that never gets brought up in this book. Because that just seems weird. That's just such a dumb idea that he knew.
Again, it could be that, or it could, again, be passing ships, or a little bit of a mixture of the two. It could be a mixture of the two where, like, they're given enough clues that where, like, they don't know anything for a fact. But by the time the events of The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker come to pass, with information they already had, like the individual parties, at the very least Luke and Leia, after spending time with Rey, start to put the pieces together and go, oh, holy shit.
That was the girl we were looking for.
It's you. Oh, god damn. We're like, that could be interesting as well. You could do something with that. And there's something I love with Star Wars books where there's some Star Wars books that are really good at having like a really quiet moment of realization that leaves the reader like jittery, at least in my case. Thrawn Alliance, the second Thrawn book. You read that one? Or listened to it at least? Connor?
Long time ago.
Spoil it. I don't care. I'm never going to read them.
3 years ago. I hardly remember anything from that movie.
Just
the moment Thrawn that where he doesn't say it, but he and Vader just have that. He's like, yeah, I know. Okay. Good to see you again, bud. Where it's like shit like that, like that version of like somebody, like an epilogue where someone goes, motherfucker, you're Palpatine's granddaughter. Like just that one little moment could be cool as shit. Something like that is what I keep, what I am like, that vibe.
Context, Connor. Did you read any of the Thrawn books? Okay.
The canon Thrawn
trilogy.
The
second one is called Alliance, and it kind of bounces back and forth between a past encounter that Thrawn has with Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker.
Okay, no, I
get
the twist now. I get the revel. Yeah.
And so, like, as they're working together in the present, you're also kind of getting the flashbacks of them working together in the past. And Thrawn is
and they're partially retracing their steps as well.
To use an analogy that my buddy Adam used in college from a completely different scenario, for Thrawn, it was kind of like at the end of a Lego Star Wars level when you've got all 10 mini kits, and it's just like, shung, 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 shung. And then you're like, oh, the pieces come clunking together, and then it's like, there it is.
Yeah, and you can tell from like the onset of the book, Thrawn's like, I think it's
he's like, there's something familiar. He's like, there's something really familiar about this guy. I'm gonna prod him a little, and there are moments when Thrawn, I think,
barely stops short of saying the name Anakin Skywalker to him.
He'll like say something that if you're a Vader, you're like, does he know? Did he say that to like test me, to mess with me, to see how I would?
And
react?
also the stones on Thrawn to just like in a room full of people mess with Vader.
Yeah,
because he knows he's messing with Vader.
Yeah, and like, yeah, it gets to a point where even Vader's like, yeah, he knows. He's one of the few.
But Thrawn has also gotten to the point where he's like, I'm not going to push this any further. This is clearly upsetting him, and out of respect and kind of an implied also self-preservation. There's like Vader. I can't remember how the exact scene goes, but there's basically some type of like, we're not going to talk about this anymore, right? And Thrawn's like, absolutely, I don't know what you're talking about, Lord Vader. We're cool.
I would argue this is totally, you can feel free to push back on this, but I almost feel like by the end of the second Thrawn trilogy book, and by that point in the canonical
so you want to get more up on
by that point in the canonical timeline, I would say the case could be made that Thrawn is more indispensable to the Emperor at that particular point than Vader is. And if Vader, just like in a moment of absolute rage, decides to cut Thrawn in half, he'd be dead. Like, I think that having a fleet admiral as apt and as awesome as Thrawn is more essential to keeping control than Vader is at that point. The Emperor is already like, yeah, you aren't what I wanted you to be, but you're what I have.
And also pretty damn good regardless, but still.
You're good. You're still good, but you're not what I wanted.
I have a response to that, and I think
we can make that a topic episode.
We can do a series of Thrawn episodes. But
I do think that if Thrawn pushed Vader's buttons, no pun intended, a little bit too much, and Vader just and turned around and sliced him in half, the Emperor would be like, you are a liability, you are a mad dog, and I'm going to put you down. You've been fun, you play fetch pretty good, but I'm done dealing with you. You just killed one of my best men. I'm done with you. That is my contention. We can move on now.
Here, I know Joel calibrated some of these weird. I think you want to be talking right there.
See, is this my side? Hello.
Oh yeah, that's a sweet spot. Jumping back into this article.
You like that, Connor?
That was a good conversation we had though about Shadow of the Sith. Star Wars Brotherhood by Mike Chen. The Clone Wars have begun. Battle lines are being drawn throughout the galaxy. With every world that joins the Separatists, the peace guarded by the Jedi Order is slipping through their fingers. After an explosion devastates Cato Neimoidia, the jewel of the Trade Federation, the Republic is blamed and the fragile neutrality of the planet is threatened. The Jedi dispatch Obi-Wan Kenobi...
Neutrality should be in quotes there. Just saying.
Quotes and then in parentheses next to it, lol. The Jedi dispatch Obi-Wan Kenobi, one of the Order's most gifted diplomatic minds, to investigate the crime and maintain the balance that has begun to dangerously shift. As Obi-Wan investigates with the help of the heroic Neimoidian Guard, he finds himself working against the Separatists who hope to draw the planet into the conspiracy, and senses the sinister hand of Asajj Ventress in the mist that cloak the planet. Amid brewing chaos, Anakin Skywalker rises to the rank of Jedi Knight. Despite the mandate that Obi-Wan Kenobi travel alone and his former master's insistence that he listen this time, Anakin's headstrong determination means nothing can stop him from crashing the party and bringing along a promising but conflicted youngling.
What?
Once a Padawan to Obi-Wan, Anakin now finds himself on equal but uncertain footing with the man who raised him. The lingering friction between them increases the danger for everyone around them. The two Jedi Knights must learn a new way to work together, and they must learn quickly to save Cato Neimoidia and its people from the fires of war. To overcome the threat they face, they must grow beyond master and apprentice. They must stand together as brothers.
The fact that they use that line, the last line, and that's from the 2003 Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I agree. Connor, at time of record, this was last night, but You were on Darth Chaco's High Ground podcast, and
Yes.
I was honored. I watched it. I listened to it. It was great. I got to share it around with the TNAP socials. I felt honored for the name drop because they were talking Legends and Canon books, and right at the end, Chaco was like, "Also, I gotta shout out Jared and his love of Labyrinth of Evil, because
I think I have your copy. I think you gave me your copy to borrow, and
I
still
don't
have
own Labyrinth. That's definitely one I've listened to.
I could
not
have sworn
read.
I got that one from you. I have a
think so.
copy. Do you want it?
Yeah, I'll take a hard copy. Labyrinth of Evil.
Hey. Good old
but-
paperback.
In my opinion, Labyrinth of Evil is the most unintentionally funny Star Wars story. I've said it 1,000 times. The fact that the whole book is based around Newt Gunray shitting the bed so hard that the only option of recovery is attacking Coruscant and kidnapping Palpatine. And the fact that Obi-Wan accidentally gets stoned like a gravel road on Cato Nemoidia because he accidentally like cuts up a bunch of like magic mushrooms with his lightsaber and inhales all of it and is basically doing like drunken Jedi master like
Smoke weed
Ceresu.
every day.
Yeah, just all that's missing is just like the bum, bam, 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 bam. That's all that's missing in the audiobook. While he's like drunkenly, highly fighting a bunch of battle droids. That said, it looks like we're about to see the real version of the business on Cato Nemoidia that doesn't count, which is exciting and neat. I'm going to miss the Legends version, but that doesn't mean that I can't at any point go back and read or listen to Labyrinth of Evil. Spencer, thoughts on this one? We'll be able to mine this for great quotes for pictures we take together.
Yes. So my only like, it seems that I'm excited. I'm gonna stop word salading. I'm just gonna make full sentences. I'm excited for this story. I can sense the awkwardness of Anakin becoming a knight and technically being at the same level as Obi-Wan. In my head, as soon as Anakin graduates, Obi-Wan is like immediately granted master status because
they both get promoted in the like after Geonosis.
Yeah, but like this is the weird in between where they're both knights, and that bothers me because I can already sense the weird awkward tension between the two of them. Like, you're my master, but you're not my master anymore, and you're technically the same rank as me, so should I
know deep down you outrank me, but technically speaking,
you can't boss me around
anymore. I don't have to follow orders from you.
And that's weird. I don't like it. I
don't think Obi-Wan will either, which checks
out. Which is why I'm like, yeah.
And I'm the one who can't wait to see Anakin pull rank in this book, where I can't wait to say, actually, Jedi Knight Kenobi, sit down, be humble.
Listen. This is a quote from Band of Brothers. Toward the end, there's a long backstory, but basically there's this guy who is of a lower rank that used to rank above this other guy. And now this guy is like a 1-star general, and that other guy is still a lieutenant, but it used to be the other way. And he like walks by and he's not saluting. And the general's like, hey, you didn't salute me.
Oh, I know exactly what scene you're talking about.
And it wasn't like a flex. It was just like, dude, I cannot allow you in the presence of other people to like be so publicly insubordinate. And so he says, you salute the rank, not the man. In other words,
I know exactly what scene you're talking about.
You salute the office. It's like whenever people say, I respect the office of the presidency. I don't like the current president. It's kind of like that. I think the opposite needs to be the case for the Jedi, especially in this situation. Like, the rank doesn't matter. Obi-Wan has got 15 years on you. He's much more skilled. He's much more studied. He's
not a fucking lunatic.
He is still your former master, somebody that you look up to as
He's
a
not
father figure.
crazy.
Don't you dare try and pull rank on this guy.
It'll be so funny when he does, though.
In the same way that I am now 22 years old, I am technically an adult. So that technically puts me and my dad on the same playing field socially. There's no way that I'm going to say, I'm not going to do that. I'm an adult. Because he's my dad.
That's not you. I got it.
Because he's my dad. So in this situation, it's definitely a salute the man, not the rank. But thank you, Connor, and anybody else out there who got that really obscure Band of Brothers reference that I explained really terribly.
No, you didn't. That was a good
freaking Major Sobel.
Yeah. Captain Winters, who then becomes Colonel Winters or something like that. If you haven't seen Band of Brothers, it is well worthy of your attention and your time.
Agreed.
If for no other reason than just like the interviews from the actual Easy Company guys that they took when they were still alive, like hearing some of the stories from their own mouths, really cool. And Band of Brothers is like a treasure trove of really, really well-known actors from before they were really, really well-known. Like, we're talking Fassbender. We're talking James McAvoy, Tom Hardy.
Cumberbatch in that?
Tons of people. I don't think Cumberbatch was in Band
Cumberbatch is in something like that.
He was in 1917.
No, I mean, like,
he was already famous when he.
Yeah, I mean, he was in something similar to a Band of Brothers before that.
There's another one, but like,
Jimmy Fallon was in it.
Jimmy Fallon, and Tom Hanks' son. What the heck?
White Boy Summer?
Maybe. What?
Chet Hanks.
Who?
Wait. His son was in it?
Tom Hanks' son, yeah.
Oh.
He was the guy in that one episode where that young lieutenant out of West Point came to the front.
Oh, he was the young lieutenant?
Yeah. Which is like another really weird power dynamic there. Like, do you listen to the staff sergeant who's been in the war for 3 years, or do you listen to the lieutenant that's fresh out of West Point and his uniform still looks clean? Like, shiny. Who do you listen to there? But seriously, Band of Brothers, keep your eye out for actors that are really, really well known today. Just speckled throughout. Most of them only last one episode. Sorry, spoilers, but anyway.
Connor, thoughts on Star Wars Brotherhood before we keep it moving with the book announcements?
So Brotherhood, I'm excited for it. What really excited me for it was the author's Twitter thread, and I'll read some pretty freaking tweets. This guy is like super excited to write this book or in the process of writing it or what have you.
Mike Chen's cool. He's been on Around the Galaxy before, and I've listened to his interviews, and he's a kick-ass dude.
Ooh, I'll have to check that one out. I did not know that. So he says, so what more can I actually tell you? It's a character-driven examination of trauma, extremism, purpose, and letting go with lightsabers. And the shadow of Qui-Gon weighs heavily on our heroes. And in a really cool way, I felt like I could bridge Anakin's words and thoughts from both Attack of the Clones Hayden and Clone Wars Matt Lanter. I knew which version of Anakin would come out based on situations and who he was speaking to. From a big picture perspective, I get to fill in the logistical gap between where does this clone army come from to we're generals commanding battalions. So exploring that era is a bit overwhelming and unbelievable. And the emotional fallout from Anakin's whirlwind of losing his mom, getting his arm chopped off, getting married, and becoming a knight leading into the Clone Wars. That's ripe for character examination. As for Obi-Wan's perspective, I get to dive into his own internal pressures.
Yeah, talk about emotional whiplash there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, nothing much. Just, started a war. I fell in love. I got married. Got my arm cut off. My mom died. Sorry, we totally interrupted you.
No. I know. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep interrupting you. Somebody, please. Like the Luis memes, like the Luis in Ant-Man format.
Oh yeah.
Or the scene where he picks up Scott from San Quentin. Where he's like, so he had been well. My dad died. Oh, my girlfriend left me. I got the van though. Or it's like, well, my mom died. I got my arm cut off. I started an interplanetary civil war. But hey, I climb into bed with Padme Amidala at night. Sometimes.
It's like
when I'm not almost dying.
It's like that scene from The Princess Bride when he's like, oh, you know how much I love to watch you work, but I've got my country's 500th anniversary to plan, my wedding to plan, my wife to murder, and Gilda to frame for it. I'm swamped. I couldn't possibly. So, uninterrupted, Connor, go.
Okay, cool. So and then he continues. As for Obi-Wan's perspective, I get to dive into his own internal pressures of living up to his promise to Qui-Gon, while also basically becoming a parent when he wasn't ready. That's similarly great character fodder. And he says he had the privilege of creating a few new favorite characters who are ironically very inspired by Star Trek. And he said, in general, a lot of the book is heavily inspired by Deep Space Nine. And the two other influences were Brotherhood. No, the two other influences were Revenge of the Sith novel and Master and Apprentice. And that's pretty much. He just goes on more about like how it happened and everything, but just that's kind of like the big bits of it. So yeah. And also Shadows of the Sith, Adam Christopher, the author, he said one of the influences of the book for him, Matthew Stover's Revenge of the Sith novelization. So
one would think it might just be the best Star Wars novel in the Legends canon. I pretty much said everything I had to say on Brotherhood. I'm super excited for it. It's that and Shadow of the Sith for me. Speaking of Jedi and Sith, stories of Jedi and Sith. The brave Jedi, the devious Sith, these iconic heroes and villains embody the struggle between the light and the dark that is at the very heart of Star Wars. In this exciting middle-grade anthology, 10 acclaimed authors imagine all new tales from some of the saga's most popular characters, from Luke Skywalker to Darth Vader, from Obi-Wan Kenobi to Asajj Ventress and beyond. Complete with beautiful spot illustrations, epic standoffs, cunning plots, courageous action, and ruthless anger. Are all here in this showcase of enduring power of one of the greatest movie sagas of all time. Included are stories by the following authors: Roseanne A. Brown, Sarwat Chadha, Delilah S. Dawson, Tessa Granton, Michael Cogg, Sam Maggs, obviously Delilah Dawson, that's a big Star Wars name. Sam Maggs working on the KOTOR remake. Michael Murchie, Alex Segura, Vera Strange, Karen Strong, with illustrations by Jack Bartok.
Yeah, Jake Bartok. If you don't follow him on Twitter, he's just makes really, really wonderful fan art. And the fact that he's getting to work on a Star Wars book now is just absolutely incredible. And so congratulations to him. Also, there was a new release that says which author is writing which character, so I'll read that off really quickly.
Oh, dope. Thank you. I didn't see that.
Roseanne Brown is writing Rey. Sarwat Chadha is writing Obi-Wan and Anakin. Delilah S. Dawson is writing Asajj Ventress. Tessa Granton is writing Emperor Palpatine. Michael Cogg is writing Yoda. Sam Maggs is writing Luke Skywalker. Michael Morsi is writing.
I'm so glad. I am so glad the one writing Luke is the one that like all the Fandom Menace people are angry about. That makes me so happy. Like to my
exactly
goddamn core.
That's
Die mad. Anyway, continue, Connor.
So Michael Morrissey is writing Darth Maul, Alex Segura is doing Qui-Gon, Varys Strange is Darth Vader, and Karen Strong is writing Barriss Offee.
Now be careful, Connor. I don't want to have to edit you dropping a C-bomb out of this episode.
I know. I've matured. We just haven't gotten a lot of Barriss Offee content, so it's like really exciting. Like, where are they going to go with her?
Yeah, I agree. I'm just being a dick. That was funny.
Yeah. Oh, and also, I forgot to mention, the Brotherhood book is coming out in May. And you know what else is rumored to also come out in May? The Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga.
I wish.
I hope it comes out before May. I can't wait until May, dude. I've been itching for this for over a year.
We're going to figure out how to stream video games, and Spencer and I are going to play it.
Okay.
I need this
question, though. Are these short stories that are put into a large volume anthology? Or
yeah,
these
it's probably like
a
story. It's probably like the Clone Wars stories of Light and Dark. That's what I assume.
Okay, good. Because I'm not buying 10 different books, but I can buy one book with 10 stories in it.
Yeah,
I'm on board for.
It's going to be that. Real quick, our final book announcement here, Star Wars Padawan by Kirsten White.
This is taking place pre-Master and Apprentice.
Yes.
The author clarified that, thankfully.
Yeah. Obi-Wan Kenobi really wants to be a good Padawan, the best Padawan even. But that's feeling more and more impossible with his new master, Qui-Gon Jinn. All of Obi-Wan's friends... That's not you. Yeah. There we go. Everybody saw potato on that one.
Okay, wow. I was like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah, no, you're good. Obi-Wan Kenobi, all of Obi-Wan's friends are off training to be real Jedi, getting mission experience while he's still on Coruscant, practicing his forms and sitting in silent contemplation. Mm-hmm. Ever since Qui-Gon's former master Dooku left the Order, it feels like Qui-Gon has been too busy trying to connect with the Force or arguing with the Jedi Council to properly train his Padawan. When Obi-Wan finally convinces Qui-Gon to take him on a mission to a remote planet once explored by an ancient Jedi, his master doesn't show up the morning they are to leave, so Obi-Wan impulsively takes off by himself. Upon arriving on the mysterious lush planet, he encounters a group of teenagers with no adult supervision, and all who seem to have some type of connection to the Force. Free from the constraints of the Order, Obi-Wan joins them in their daring adventures, but the Padawan side of him keeps questioning the teen's strange relationship to the Force and the verdant planet around them, and what it all might mean to his future. Obi-Wan will test the limits of his relationship to the Jedi and to the Force in this exciting yet soulful exploration of one of Star Wars' most enduring heroes. So yeah, another cool one. Basically a prequel to Master and Apprentice.
I'm all for this pre-Phantom Menace stories. Just that's an era that hasn't really been explored, and the fact that we now have Dooku Jedi Lost, Master and Apprentice, and now this, it's super exciting. Plus the High Republic, but like that's way out there. So
yeah.
I wonder who the ancient
Phantom Menace, but still within range of the prequel trilogy.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, because of just the High Republic now, I wonder if the ancient Jedi is a High Republic Jedi.
Probably will be. Spencer, any thoughts on this one? No. Okay. I mean, with me, it's pretty obvious. I love Obi-Wan. I love Qui-Gon. I'm going to be all over this when it comes out.
Same.
Moving on. Oops, sorry, Connor. What were you about to say, bud?
No, I'm just saying same because, like, Obi-Wan, I need to read Master and Apprentice. It's in another freaking state, so I have to get it. But, like, I know once I read it, I'm really going to like it because I've talked with friends about it. And just, like, Obi-Wan is a character I just haven't been able to grasp yet. But I know once I do, I'm going to be like, this dude's freaking dope. And I'm getting there. Especially, like, early Obi-Wan, I think is just... There's something about early Obi-Wan, like pre-Phantom Menace, and like Phantom Menace in between. in between Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones. There's just something really rich about his character in those two time periods that I just love.
It's like getting to see Luke go from dodgy station to become some power converters to I am a Jedi like my father before me, to it's time for the Jedi to end, to no one's ever really gone. You know, it's that like you change a lot and become just an incredible hero and a damn good man. And I think it's the same thing with Obi-Wan, is seeing him go from being this like headstrong little shit, not as much of a little shit as Anakin was, not by a long shot, but still a little shit, to the negotiator. You know, he's a legendary Jedi. So look forward to seeing more Padawan Obi-Wan content. Quickie from last week we missed because of our Legends review. Go check that out if you haven't yet. We have a confirmed date for the Book of Boba Fett. It will be starting to air December 29th on Disney Plus, which shocks me. I really thought we were going to get this earlier into the month of December. I did not expect Book of Boba Fett to basically be a 2022 show.
It's literally just early enough to be technically released in 2021, and that's what I find the most hilarious.
Literally the last possible day that they could do it. We also got this key art of Boba Fett on Jabba's old throne. That is neat. And we also, I have not read this until now. I was waiting to get all the details in. We have an exclusive, a scene description from Book of Boba Fett from John Hoey of Star Wars Newsnet. Also a Movie Trophy Schmodown competitor. The Book of Boba Fett is less than 3 months away, and we have a big, literally, exclusive about the series that would satisfy your appetite for footage until a trailer arrives. This scene we're describing below should do a very good job of setting the tone for how wild and epic this series is going to be. Potential spoilers ahead. So, before I start reading the article from Star Wars Newsnet, not Making Star Wars, Making Star Wars, go shit yourself. Just saying up top, you can leave because this is basically the last major story. The only other story, Omega was recording voice lines for Bad Batch 2. So there you go.
Bad Batch
season 2. Yeah, things we could have figured out. Yeah. A reliable source has described a scene from the... Okay, get out of here if you don't want to hear it. A reliable source has described a scene from the Book of Boba Fett to us. Oopsie. There we go. This page was glitching. I apologize. In the scene, Boba Fett will be encountering and quite possibly taming / controlling a Rancor. Our source was not completely positive on whether Fett is fighting the beast or controlling it, but Fett is standing on the back of the Rancor's neck and looks like he's riding and controlling it as it tears through a complex / city street on what is most likely Tatooine. We consulted with a separate source who confirmed the scene is indeed in the series. We had an artist create a rendering based on all the details we were told, which includes the Rancor wearing a huge chest plate, armor, and wrist guards. The Rancor is said to be much lighter in complexion than Patissa, the Rancor Luke Skywalker killed in Jedi, and there's more of a sandy color. Our apologies to Malakili, the Rancor keeper from Jedi, who might have been hoping his beloved pet survived, much like Boba Fett did. So I'm going to cue this back up. Here's the artist rendering of the scene. Looks neat. Very cool. I like
probably Moochie.
It's probably Moochie.
I thought Moochie was green. Did I make that up?
You definitely made that up.
Yeah, you made that up.
Moochie was not green.
Oops.
Nope. They were the sandy color. That's just
yeah. We don't feel this reveal spoils the story of the series, but if the scene is any indication of the Book of Boba Fett is going to be an epic and wild ride, we are very excited to see what is revealed when the trailer debuts, and of course when the series finally arrives on Wednesday, December 29th on Disney+.
Yeah.
You like this?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah. And in other news, for you Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes mobile players,
Yes.
they added Fennec Shand to the game today. There is no mention in any of her kit of Boba Fett after like Mando Season 2, but Galaxy of Heroes has been known to provide small updates to characters to give greater synergy with surprise new characters. So I would not at all be surprised if we get a post-Mando Season 2 Book of Boba Fett era Boba Fett that has some pretty cool synergies with Fennec Shand.
I hope we do. With that, we already kind of touched on the Bad Batch Season 2 stuff, so I think that's all we have for you guys this week. Just over an hour. I said it'd be a lighter show by comparison to others. So, Connor, where can the lovely people find your good friend?
They can find me
wait,
on...
real quick. I just want to say, if anything we saw here was true about Book of Boba Fett or the books we're going to get,
it's gonna be a big nut bust.
I'm surprised. Did I show you that for the first time?
You did.
I thought so.
Last year. And
I thought so.
I almost threw up. I was laughing so hard.
I know, it's so funny. It's so funny.
It's gonna be a big nut bust.
Connor, where can the lovely people find you, buddy?
They can find me on Twitter at DepaBanana, Instagram at ConmanJFO. I will recommend going on Facebook. If you still have a Facebook, of which I don't, I just decided to deactivate mine because I don't have much use for it anymore. I would recommend
Tal Swift.
Yeah, Facebook's just it's not cool anymore. But I would recommend, if you are trying to find a Star Wars Facebook group to just talk Star Wars, the Alliance of Star Wars Fanatics is a pretty good place because we just kind of keep all the hate out of it. If you're looking for that. And you can find me very slowly writing articles and stories at StarWarsEditorIG.com. We have some stories published on the website. There's a lot more coming down the pipeline. And just really the unique part about this fan universe, at least to me, is that we abide by canon and we don't just do whatever we want, even though we pretty much could. Like, if we wanted to, we could rewrite the prequels or the sequels just because we could, but we're going to abide by what's in canon with all the material and sort of make the stories that we can from that. And just, we got some pretty good stories on the way. So, and Jared, there's a long-term one. You're going to like it.
I'm sure I will. I think you're an excellent writer, so I'm excited for it.
So no, I'm not writing it. It's like the main, It's like, no, I don't, no. The stuff I'm writing is pretty not surprising, but like the one long planned story we have is, you're going to like it. That's all I'm going to say.
I am excited. Spencer, where can the lovely people find you, good sir?
They can find me on Instagram at SpencemanCosplay and on Twitter at SpenceMan49.
Yes.
Where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552, and you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, and on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon page.
Give me $1.
Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Feige's Boomer Burner, Delta 9, The Waffle Wizard, Zach Knaus, Michael Armburst, and Alex Jones's Gayest Frog. Be sure to consider the $5 tier where, as I said, we're going to be doing Skier versus Savage Press for the Versus series this month. That'll be out by the time you're hearing this tonight when we record it.
Yeah.
But you'll find out what the next matchup is in that episode. So go check that out. Heroic History 101 is back. Travis and I are working on our Dark Knights Metal episode. There's probably going to be a Campus Life next week, fingers crossed. So there will be some of that goodness that you'll get early access to at the $10 tier.
You're going to get a lot from me.
I know. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, rate, review, do all the things. We are honored that you have joined us, and may the Force be with you always.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar!